Welcome dear students. Today we are here to learn about our last lesson of the Hornbill book. This lesson is titled as Silk Road and this has been authored by Nick Middleton, a British physical geographer who was born in 1960 in London. This whole chapter is an account of a journey to Mount Kailash, that is Kailash Mansarovar by Nick Middleton. As you know, Kailash Mansarovar is a famous pilgrimage for the Hindu community. Nick Middleton is going to that place less for the religious purpose, more for the academic purpose. He is a writer, he is author, he writes books. So he decided to visit Mount Kailash and pen it down in his book. Not only he, one more person accompanies him later in this story who is known as Norbu. He is also a writer, an author, and he wants to write a journal. So both of them accompany each other. Later in this chapter we will read about them. Before that, let us discuss about the Silk Road, that is the title. What for this title has been given by the author? Let me tell you, in old times Silk Road was known as Silk Route, and Silk Route was a path which was followed by the traders from Tibet and other regions for purchasing or trading the silk from Kashmir. So they used to follow that route, and Nick Middleton also, while going to Kailash Mansarovar or Mount Kailash, is following the same route. So he has titled it as Silk Road. This is very apt title. While going through this chapter, we will come across the different mountain ranges, the different places en route. Also, Nick Middleton has described about the human negligence about the environment, about the beautiful places, the nature, the way the nature is being treated by human beings. The places are full of filth and dump yards. Nick Middleton also suffers some physical problems, some health issues on the way to Mount Kailash. He suffers from nausea, giddiness, and being treated by the physicians. So, in this chapter, a vivid description is given about the pastures, the mountainous places, and the route being followed by him. Let us know about that by means of the textual reading. A flawless half moon floated in a perfect blue sky on the morning we said our goodbyes. So, in the first paragraph, this is the description given about the weather conditions and the environment which was existing that time, and how they took leave from their near and dear ones. So when they left for Mount Kailash in the early morning, the moon was half shaped and it was floating in the blue sky, looking very beautiful. Extended banks of cloud like long French laws glowed pink as the sun emerged to splash the distant mountain tops with a rose tinted blush. So in the early morning, when the sun rises, it throws its rays on the mountain ranges, and the tops of the mountains shine like a rose color, pink color shape. At the same time, the clouds which look swelled up in the sky just like the French double bread, their edges also glow in pink. Now that we were leaving Rao, Lamo said she wanted to give me a farewell present. So they were leaving from Rao, a place, and Lamo is the girl who wanted to give some farewell present to Nick Middleton. Okay, this is his own story. This is the story of our author Nick Middleton. One evening, I had told her through Daniel that I was heading towards Mount Kailash to complete the Kora. So one morning, it so happened that Nick Middleton passed this message, conveyed this message through Daniel, his friend, to Lamo, that he is going to Mount Kailash Mount for completion of a Kora, a religious journey. And she had said that I ought to get some warmer clothes. So, when she came to know about my journey to Mount Kailash, she sensed that yes, Mount Kailash is a cold place and obviously the woolen clothes are required there. So, she advised me to carry some warmer clothes. After ducking back into her tent, she emerged carrying one of the long sleeved sheepskin coats that all the men wore. So, generally, people while going to the cold places used to wear long sleeved sheepskin coats. Okay, so she bent down. Ducking back means bending down your head to enter the uh, low height doors. So she went into her tent and she came back with a long sleeved sheepskin coat for me. Chetan sized me up as we clambered into his car. So as we were struggling to climb his car, means clambered means facing some difficulty while climbing a vehicle. So as I was climbing his vehicle, he sized me up and in his car means he looked sized me up means he looked at me how I was looking and he said, oh yes, he declared, Drogba sir. Drogba means in their own language. He said, you are looking great sir, it exactly suits you. Means that suit, that coat which was offered, which was gifted by Lamo to Nick Middleton was perfectly suitable for Nick Middleton. That was being declared by Chetan, and Chetan is here another person who is the driver of the vehicle Nick Middleton travels by. We took a shortcut to get off the Sangtang, means this is the place and this is a mountainous place. So they wanted to take a shortcut from this place. They wanted to skip this place. Chetan knew a route that would take us southwest almost directly towards Mount Kailash. So Chetan was knowing some other route which was shorter even and which was heading towards southwest. It involved crossing several fairly high mountains passes, he said. And he said that the route which you are going to follow obviously goes through several high mountain passes. But no problem, sir. He said, sir, no problem. He assured me. He assured us. Means Chetan was sure about his successful journey and the route he was knowing, he was sure about that certainly it would support them. If there is no snow, Chetan said, sir, if there is no snow at present in this route, then definitely we are going to cover it easily, with little ease you can say. What was the likelihood of that, I asked. But Nick Middleton, author, asked him, Chetan, what is the probability of availability of snow in this route right now? Not knowing, sir, until we get there. So Chetan said, sir, until and unless we reach there, we can't guess whether there is snow or not. जैसे हम वहाँ पहुँचेंगे तभी पता चलेगा कितनी स्नो है वहाँ पे, कितनी नहीं है. सो ऑब्वियसली ये एक पहाड़ी रास्ता था और उसके ऊपर स्नो होना एक कॉमन सी बात थी. From the gently rolling hills of Rao, the shortcut took us across vast open plains with nothing in them except a few gazelles. So they were rolling down their vehicle through the Rao hills and some shortcuts. Open plains were also coming in between pastures, okay, meadow, charaga. बट नथिंग इन दैम, और उनमें कुछ भी नहीं मिला था एक्सेप्ट फ्यू गैजल्स. गैजल्स मीन्स ए स्पीसीज ऑफ डियर. ओके, डियर की, हिरणों की एक प्रजाति, उसको बोलते हैं गैजल्स. दिस you can have an idea about the construction of the mountains in the Mount Kailash. This is a sketch of Mount Kailash. Okay, so obviously this is a mountainous place that would look up from nibbling the arid pastures and frown before bounding away into the void. So in those open places, open pastures, there were gazelles, deers, okay, and they would look up from nibbling. Nibbling means small bites, when there are small roots, small sepals on the ground, and the uh, deer grazes on that. Deer grazes on that. That time they nibble it, means they are chewing it, they are taking the bite from this grass, and they look up. जनरली यही होता है, हिरन डियर जरा सा खाएगा उसको, उसके बाद में ऊपर उठा के अपनी गर्दन को देखता है इधर उधर कहाँ पे कौन आ रहा है. द एरिड पास्चर्स मीन्स these pastures were dry, there were hardly some grass, and frown before bounding away into the void, means they would show their disappointment, their displeasure before bouncing away in the open areas. सो डियर जैसे खाते वहाँ पे, उसके बाद ऊपर देखते, फिर उसके बाद उनको कुछ नहीं खाने को मिलता वहाँ पे, तो ये अपने थोड़ा सा बुरी सी शक्ल बना के, मीन्स अपनी दुखी मन से वहाँ से खाली जगह की तरफ वो दौड़ जाते हैं. फर्दर ऑन वेयर द प्लेन्स बिकेम मोर स्टोनी देन ग्रासी, और उसके बाद जो आगे बढ़ते हैं तो इनका जो रास्ता था और जो लैंड थी वो अभी स्टोनी हो गई, मीन्स पथरीली ज़मीन आ गई, ग्रास वहाँ पे नहीं है. ए ग्रेट हर्ड ऑफ वाइल्ड एस came into view, and there they could glance over a herd, okay, a herd of wild ass. Chetan told us we were approaching them long before they appeared, and Chetan said, sir, we were approaching them since long, but now we have seen them. Okay, हमने अभी उनको देखा है, बट हम काफ़ी पहले से उनके पास, उनकी तरफ बढ़ रहे थे. क्यांग, he said. Now Chetan said, sir, क्यांग. क्यांग means what is क्यांग? Pointing towards a far off pall of dust. So a pall of dust means एक धूल का गुब्बार दूर की तरफ उठ रहा है, और उसकी तरफ इशारा करके बोलते हैं, सर देखिए क्यांग है, क्यांग. ओके, when we drew near, I could see the herd galloping en masse, wheeling and turning in tight formation, as if they were practicing maneuvers on some predetermined course. So जैसे ही हम आगे बढ़ रहे थे, we could see a herd galloping, means galloping होता है रेसिंग और रसिंग, en masse, बहुत बड़ा झुंड उनकी तरफ दौड़ता हुआ आ रहा था. wheeling and turning in tight formation, and they were in close formation, means a good arrangement or a good formation, that is disciplined manner. In a disciplined manner they were moving these cattle, and a tight formation, as if they were practicing maneuvers, and it appears as if they were doing some practice on their predetermined course, means पहले से उनका कोई कोर्स डिसाइडेड है और उसकी वो प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं. सो झुंड में लेफ्ट राइट और आगे पीछे वो दौड़ रहे थे, मीन्स एक प्रॉपर फॉर्मेशन में. Plumes of dust billowed into the crisp, clean air. Plumes means soft feather of dust billowed into the crisp, clean air. So clean air में एक डस्ट के, धूल के जो गुब्बार हैं वो वहाँ पे उठ रहे थे. As he started to push up once more from the rocky wilderness, we passed solitary Drokbas tending their flocks. So as we were moving ahead from the rocky pastures, we were going up the hills, and there we came across the solitary shepherds. Okay, Drokbas means shepherds, who were tending their flocks, means who were maneuvering their herds, their cattle. Sometimes men, sometimes women. Okay, So these shepherds were men as well as women. These well-wrapped figures would pause and stare at our car. Means whenever we would go close to them, we would pass by them, they would stare at us. They would look at us, occasionally waving as we passed, and they would wave their hands uh, as we passed by them. जो उनके पास से निकलते थे हमारी तरफ हाथ हिला के हमारा वो अभिवादन करते. When the track took us close to their animals, the sheep would take evasive action. So whenever our track, our path would go close to these animals, the sheep particularly would take evasive action, means ambiguous action. They would move in any direction, okay, arbitrary direction, veering away from the speeding vehicle, and they would change their direction all of a sudden just because of the vehicle which would appear them to कमिंग क्लोज टू देम. ओके, जैसे उनको लगता है व्हीकल हमारे पास में आ रहा है, सो उसको देख के उधर उधर भागती थी. वी पास्ट नोमाड्स, डार्क टेंट्स पिच्ड इन splendid isolation. We passed nomads. Nomads means the people who don't have a permanent residence. Okay, they keep on moving from one place to another place. They live in tents and in temporary sheds. So we passed nomads and dark tents pitched in splendid isolation. Isolation means a forlorn place, a secluded place, okay, alone place. Splendid isolation. So there were some tents pitched. Pitched means erection of tents, tent lagana. Some tents were pitched in the splendid isolation, and there were the nomads residing in them, taking shelter in them, usually with a huge black dog, and they were having some huge dogs also with of black color, a Tibetan Mastiff, and the breed of this black dog was Tibetan Mastiff. They used to called as standing guard, and their duty was to guard their tents. These beasts would cock their great big heads when they became aware of our approach and fix us in their sights. So they were so dangerous and so terrific that whenever they would sense somebody approaching them, they would become alert, they would raise their head, and they would fix their eyesight on the people approaching them, just to attack as soon as possible. As we continued to draw closer, they would explode into action. Okay, so when we came close to them, they would explode, means they would start barking, speeding directly towards us, and they would run towards us to attack us like a bullet from a gun and nearly as fast. So their action was as brisk and fast as a bullet from a gun. जैसे बुलेट्स गन से बुलेट निकलती है उसी स्पीड से वो अटैक करते, मीन्स they were very brisk and very dangerous. These saggy monsters, saggy means a skin full of dense hair, bushy, okay. Monsters, the dangerous animal, cannibals. The saggy monsters, blacker than the darkest night. So their color was more dark than the night even. Usually wore bright red collars. So this was the natural design of their neck. There was a red collar or their neck, and barked furiously with massive jaws. So whenever they would bark, they would open up their big jaws. They were completely fearless of our vehicle, means they were not at all afraid of the presence of our vehicle. Shooting straight into our path, they would come running to us whenever they would see us, causing Zetan to brake and swerve. And their movement was creating a lot of problem for Zetan to halt the vehicle sometimes, to stop it, and swerve means to take some sharp turns in order to save them, spare them from any injury. The dog would make chase for 100 meters or so before easing off. So once they would chase us, they would continue almost for 100 meters and they would run behind us, and after that they would become calm, having seen of us the property. Means as we left their property, they would become calm. It wasn't difficult to understand why ferocious Tibetan Mastiffs became popular in China's imperial courts as hunting dogs, brought along the Silk Road in ancient times as tribute from Tibet. So this is a famous dog species of Tibet, and these dogs were kept in the royal courts of China as hunting dogs. Okay, and what was their importance? What for they were kept as hunting dogs in the imperial courts? Now there was no doubt left behind. Okay, we 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 were almost sure about their importance, about their characteristic, what for they were kept in the, because they were so dangerous and they were so big and ferocious. That's why they were kept in the royal courts. By now, we could see snow-capped mountains gathering on the horizon. So now they reached at such a place from where they could see the mountains covered with snow. So snow-topped mountains could be viewed from the place where they have reached now. We entered a valley where the river was wide and mostly clogged with ice. So now they are passing through a river valley, and in that valley a river flows, and most of the river is frozen. Okay, this is clogged with ice, means a ice blockage was there, brilliant white and glinting in the sunshine. So this snow was shining, absolute shining was there in the sunshine. The trail hugged its bank, twisting with the meanders as we gradually gained height and the valley side closed in. So as we would move up in that path, in that valley, so the rear of the path would seem as it has closed. It generally happens that as we gain height while going on the mountains, and if you are passing through the valleys or the rivers, the lower part will appear as if it has squeezed. The turns became sharper and the ride bumpier. Now they have reached a place where the turns have become sharper, means sharp mode आ गए वहाँ पे, sharp turns आ गए हैं, and the ride bumpier means the path has become rough. This is no more smooth anymore. Zetan now in third gear as we continue to climb. So in the third gear we are trying to move up our vehicle. The track moved away from the icy river, and now our path is little bit going away from the river, means the gap is increasing between the river and our path. Laboring through steeper slopes that spotted big rocks daubed with patches of bright orange lichen. So laboring through steeper slopes, and now we are struggling hard with our vehicle to go through the steeper slopes, means inclined, sharp inclination, you can say, at a sharp angle, some slopes, some hilly paths which we follow. So the slopes were quite steep, they were no more slant, and that spotted big rocks daubed with patches of bright orange lichen, and there were big rocks which were coated with the fungi, algae of orange color. So जहाँ पे बारिश ज़्यादा होती है और एंड आइस गिरती है, वहाँ पे जनरली जो रॉक्स के ऊपर इस तरह के कलर की जो algae बन जाती है. Beneath the rocks, hunks of snow clung on it in the near permanent shade. So beneath the rocks, they could see that the large piece of snow. Hunks means large piece of something of snow, or clung means attached on the mountains as if they have taken the permanent shape there. They were never going to melt. I felt the pressure building up in my ears, held my nose, snorted and cleared them. So it is common phenomena when we go up, pressure the pressure causes our ears some uneasiness, and to clear that we need to close our nose and snort out. Means snoring, that taking breath through the through your mouth open and creating a sound while sleeping, that is known as snoring. So snorted and cleared them. So in that case you need to build a pressure in your mouth, and that pressure leads to your ear diaphragms also, and that uneasiness is cleared by that. we struggled around we struggled round another tight bend, and Jatan stopped. Thereafter we passed through another close and sharp turn, and then Jatan stopped there. He had opened his door and jumped out of his seat before I realized what was going on. So, why did Jatan stop the vehicle there? Because he saw something amazing, something beautiful there. He jumped out of his seat, he came out of the vehicle before he could understand, before the author could understand what for he had jumped out. Uh, Jatan had already come out of the vehicle. Snow, said Daniel as he too exited. Snow, said Daniel as he too exited the vehicle. So Daniel was also accompanying them. Okay. So Daniel said there is snow, and he also had come out of the vehicle. So Jatan as well as Daniel had come out of the vehicle, letting in a breath of cold air as he did so, and they wanted to have some fresh air from outside. There was a beautiful and pleasant place, and they wanted to enjoy it. That's why they come out of the vehicle after stopping it. Dear students, we will continue the left portion tomorrow. Thank you.